Hello and welcome to another episode of Infamous. This is Brandon or Mutilus on Discord.
This is Parker, go by one who parks on Discord.
And this is Aaron. Go by Treffinwood on the Discord.
The Discord. No big announcements or anything. Yeah, nothing crazy. Adepticon's coming up. Did you guys sign up for all your events?
Yep.
Indeed.
Very cool. I'm leaning towards taking the cameras to Adepticon at this point. We'll see. See if I'm that motivated when it gets around.
Why? Was there a reason why you would never do it, or you didn't want to? I mean, obviously you don't want to because you have to lug them around and manage them all the time.
I mean, yeah, it's a huge amount of work. It's like,
yeah,
just bringing the cameras and setting them up is like 3 hours. And then it's while you're there, it's like probably about an hour of work every round to make sure everything's running correctly and going around just to make sure people haven't kicked the camera and turned it sideways or, tried to help by turning the camera on in the middle of the round, which is very useful when you press the power button in the middle of the round to try and help.
Yeah, I remember last Adepticon, you were really busy with those all the time. Do you appreciate it though? Like, does it keep you busy in a way that you feel like is productive, or is it just feel like a drag and you'd rather be having fun at the con?
It allows me to have a different experience, which is nice.
Mm-hmm.
So it lets me kind of, I don't know, have a bird's eye view of the con as opposed to being like, because when you're in it, like you have a very narrow view. It's
right.
Like you can only focus on what's in front of you most of the time because you're in events. When you're not in events, you're like, oh, you know what? I am going to go check out this thing that's going on that you never would have looked at if you were playing in events.
Mm-hmm.
And even though you can like go to the vendor hall and stuff, but you can't really like stop and experience it. Like going to a vendor booth multiple days in a row and seeing like, oh, this is what's popular. Like, oh, they're doing demos right now and they weren't doing demos yesterday. Like, or hey, you can actually get in on the demos you didn't have time for when you were playing in events. Not to mention like, going around watching different games that you've never seen before. Like maybe you've seen a game, but you've never seen it played because, your store doesn't play it. Like you can go to like the Frostgrave Hall and like watch games of Frostgrave happen. You're like, oh, this game actually looks pretty cool. And so stuff like that. And then like, a con, I've been going to Adepticon since like 2008. So like I've been there for so long now that like I know so many people like that have transitioned to other games at this point. I don't see them in the games I play, but they still go to Adepticon. Like Trevor Attridge used to be a big War Machine player, and now he has his own game. And so he's like designed and developed a game. Then so I could go check out his booth, say hi to him, and like, see how his game has developed over the last 5 years.
Yeah, I totally hear the going to find people and hang out with people. I think that is one of the coolest things about cons by far. But I have never gone to Adepticon for what I know a lot of people go to Adepticon for, and I'm not bashing it. I've just never done it, which is to play a lot of new games, either like you said, like established games that have events, or so many different demos. Hell, is that why we're all playing Judgment right now, Aaron? Like, isn't that what happened? Like, you and Kenny were like, "This looks good," or where was that?
Yeah, it was at Warfare.
Oh, was it Warfare? Okay, so it wasn't at Adepticon, but it was another con where you're just like, "That looks cool."
Yeah,
but it was mostly because people were playing it, right? Like it wasn't because
someone else was giving someone a demo.
Yeah, and you guys
people
just
that I respected professionally, and they spoke very highly of the game.
Mm-hmm.
I remember you guys just crashed a demo, and you're like, "What does this do?" And you're like asking rules questions while they're trying to play.
Yep,
it was funny.
Yeah, Kenny was very forceful.
Mm-hmm. He's like, "Stop talking to him. Tell me how this works." And you're like, "We're not doing that right now." I was like, "Shut up and tell me how this works."
Yeah, I have.
But yeah, I would say
I've never done that at a con, but I guess the other thing is I've never been. When I go to a con, I'm never in like the mental market for a new game. I'm always going there to play a bunch of the game I have, and it's just a different mindset that I know people have, and I'm never in that mindset when I go to a con.
I would say the vast majority of people are in your same boat. I think the people that generally go to Adepticon are not there to play demos. They're there to express their passion. Like if they're passionate about 40K or whatever it happens to be, they're there because Adepticon is like the largest celebration of miniatures games. And it used to be a big tournament con, but now it's more like a celebration, I would say, because like you can still go play all the big events, like that's all still there. But like the armies on parade and the like the little games, like the stuff that you only get to play once a year at Adepticon, like there's last year a friend of mine went just to play a single game of third edition 40k. That was Jim. He went with us. He rode in our car.
Yeah.
He only went to play a singular game of third edition 40k. Because you can't do that anywhere else. You can't just go to LVO and be like, "Hey, buddy, you want to play second edition, Warhammer Fantasy?" And they're like, "No, I'm here to play 40k at the competitive tournament." You're like, "Yeah, that's all they're there for."
Mm-hmm.
Like, and that's what it felt like. It felt like just a bunch of rooms with tournaments going on. It's like where Adepticon feels more like this is where they, you pour all of your experience into like going to one event. It's like, like I can go into a room and see people playing stuff that I played 20 years ago, and I can go to another room and see people painting the models that I want to get. And then there's just every aspect of miniatures gaming all in one place.
I do love because I am not a giant fan of the hobby, but I can appreciate hobbyists and their effort. It is really cool to see how hard people work to generate their it's hard to say models because they turn them into dioramas, they turn them into scenes, they do so much really cool creative stuff with product. It's really fun to go there just to look at the showcase. There's always, and that's the weird other thing about Adepticon is there's always like 5 or 6 showcases at any one time. There's so many different ways and places to see really cool stuff. That is one thing that I like a lot. It feels like you said, kind of like the only place in the world where everybody is coming to do that. Maybe there's some other places, but not for so many games. It's so cool.
Because there's kind of like what a lot of people call like the crunchy gamers. Like there's the try-hard, super competitive groups, and and they're represented at Adepticon. Then there's like the hardcore painters that don't give a crap about the game. Like those people are represented, and there's like everywhere in between. And then there's people that just love celebrating their games. There's people that are cosplaying as their favorite game. There's new stuff like you talked about, the demo. There's new games being developed. You can meet the developers of your game there. Like last year, I got to meet Gav Thorpe. He's designing a new like mech game, and he's like one of the fathers of 40k. Basically, I've met Phil Kelly there. I've met Dan Abnett there, one of the writers. Like and you talk about Dan Abnett does a lot of comic book stuff. You didn't even know he did 40k stuff, right? And I only know him from 40k stuff. And so and I met him almost 10 years ago now at that con. I got his autograph, and you've probably talked about comic books that he wrote or whatever.
Yeah.
And I would have had no idea because I only know him because of 40k, and at that con nobody knows him for comic books.
Yeah.
Right. And so it's just an interesting. It's a really fun time because everyone is so passionate about everything there.
I found out that one of my favorite content creators for 40k lore videos is going to be there, and it's his first time going to Adepticon, and I kind of want to meet him. He just mentioned it in one of his latest videos, and I was like, "Oh, that's cool. That would be cool to actually meet him and be like, hey, I watch your shit all the time, and I feel like you're just you're just one more faceless person on the internet," because he specifically does animation, like he draws 40k stories, and they're very funny. I really enjoy them every time, and it would be really cool to meet him, just to put a face to the pencil, right, or probably the stylus. But it is bizarre to see so many, like the miniature equivalent of celebrity is there too. That's really cool.
And there's like cool painting classes and hobby seminars. There's all kinds of fun stuff.
I guess the one thing I've never done is I've never gone there. I've never gone there hoping to find a new game. That's not something I've ever done.
I definitely have never done that either. I've only played in a handful of demos at Adepticon. But I will say, if you're gonna find a new game that you want to play, it's gonna be at Adepticon, even if you're not trying to.
Yeah, I did stick around. I didn't get a full demo, but I got like an overview, like a 15-minute overview of a really cool game that very, very small, and they're still like trying to get the kind of the tracks laid so the train could go. But it was a mech game, a la what's the What's the name of the video
Battletech?
game where you're
Oh,
where you're simultaneously playing as mechs and
Robotech.
no, you're
Oh,
simultaneously playing in the mechs, but also as a foot soldier. Like it was entirely a multiplayer game. Titanfall. Titanfall.
oh,
It was
yeah.
not
I would not
Titanfall.
have gotten that.
It was not Titanfall, but it was heavily inspired by Titanfall. And I love the aesthetic of Titanfall, so I thought it was really cool.
Okay.
But I don't know if that game ever happened. I remember I took some pictures and found their website, but I don't know if it ever actually occurred. Speaking of mini games, Aaron, I am as close as I think I'm ever going to get to playing Blood Bowl.
Holy balls! Please
And
expand.
the reason why is last time I was at the Geekery with Jake Sheely, he was there. He had this group of lizard men, and as soon as I saw them, I just instantly fell in love with these models, and I was like, "Oh my gosh, these are so cool! I have to, are these the GW lizard men?" He goes, "No, they're actually made by a 3D modeler, and you can get them, from like an Etsy store or something." And I was like, "Wow, that's pretty cool." And that's where my interest kind of just nosedived. I was like, "Okay, fine."
He was like, "Well, never mind."
Yeah, I was like, yeah. I mean, it would be cool, but the energy of activation just climbed a little bit out of reach. But we did talk a while about like lizardmen and specifically these models, and I got to stare at them, and man, they were pretty.
He would have to find somebody with an Etsy store that makes Blood Bowl miniatures. That would
So fast
be very
forward
difficult.
about an hour after that, I'm still talking about Blood Bowl, still thinking about it, and Jake's left at this point, and Brandon and I are just talking about Blood Bowl. He's like, "Hey man, Brandon's like, I have got one of the most exciting Blood Bowl modelers. I have his, license. What did you call it? Like you had
It's a merchant license.
merchant license. Yeah, I have a merchant license to sell his stuff and print his stuff. And some of this stuff is super cool. And so he shows it to me, and shit you not, it was exactly the models that Jake was using.
The Brute Fun miniatures.
Yeah, Brute Fun. And
Which
so
Aaron hates. He hates Brute Fun miniatures.
You don't like Brute Fun, Aaron?
I never said that.
It was inferred.
Okay.
Heavily inferred.
Why did you believe something Brandon just said? Come on, Parker.
I never once believed.
He said these words.
We start in the evening
exactly.
off that way, huh?
No. So I stared. I still.
Night.
By the way, I left the Brute Fun page open on my phone, and I have been just kind of like longingly pawing at them like Wolverine at the picture of Jean Grey. It's good. Like just kind of pawing at the thought of
you need yourself some glottal stops.
Oh my gosh. So I didn't know that the Lizardman Croxagore character's name was Glottal Stop, which I don't know if you know this, but that's a terrifyingly hilarious lingual joke. The fact that it sounds both like an Aztec name and it's just a linguist joke.
Their whole army name is puns.
I know. I love
in Old World it is like that's.
I know. I love. I also thought the character skinks just sounded super cool. And then the new army layout is a little bit different than when I played. And man, those models.
Yeah, you get a second type of skink now. It's way better.
A skink that can throw is what they needed desperately to do anything differently than just block up and.
I don't know if a tier 1 team needed anything desperately, but sure.
Maybe. But the thing about the game that I love when I do play with my dwarfs, one of the things I do love is I love the GW dwarf models. I think they're really really great. I love them. But a lot of the other models I think are really kitschy. Like they look like 60, not really 60s, but like it's like 50s and 60s football kitschy, and I'm just not into the aesthetic very much. But these Brute Fun sculpts for the lizard men specifically were so cool. Some of the other sculpts were interesting, but man, the only thing that's keeping me from doing it is I know specifically that I've played with lizardmen before, not with like character skinks and these awesome models, but I've played with just regular skinks and saurians before, and I did not enjoy it as much as teams that have other intricate positionals. I found that I enjoy teams that have a variety of positionals, and I'm playing lots of them.
Mm-hmm.
So like necromancers are really fun, but I did not like the necromancer models as much. Necromantic, right? Yeah, that's the team that has the wide.
Oh, necromantic horrors, yeah.
Yeah. So anyway, what I'm considering, this is what I'm thinking. This is what I'm thinking as I'm considering shelling out. Is I go, can I play this game and be totally okay while I play it? And maybe I can. Maybe I've had enough time playing games. Maybe I can do it. It would be maybe it'd be good for me, but we'll see.
I'm happy to see your professional gaming and personal growth.
Yeah.
I mean, he's just theorizing about it at the moment, so don't pat him on his back so hard
Yeah.
yet.
I mean,
You might break
you
a
can't have
rotator
sex
cuff.
without thinking about sex first. Almost say.
That's
I
true.
don't know if that's true. We'll leave
true.
some darker topics off the.
I want to. Here's the rub. I feel like I want to set myself up for success. And one of the things that would make me okay. Here's the other faction that I think would be really, really fun to play. And Brandon and I were talking about it because of specifically what I like to do in Blood Bowl. I think if you told me, oh, Lizardmen are a tier 1 team or a tier 2 team, or play these guys, they're broken, I would go, I actually don't want to do that.
Mm-hmm.
Not because I don't want to win, but because if I'm playing Blood Bowl, I'm playing it because I want to have silly fun. I don't want to try to be super serious and win tournament championships.
Mhm.
And one of the factions that looks like what I love about Blood Bowl, silly fun, was the Khorne Chaos faction.
Mhm.
I think just frenzy all over the place. I love the idea of just like, let's see. They're basically rapid fire, the Blood Bowl edition. Just like,
yeah, but they're the rapid fire with like a plasma gun.
right.
So-
And so they just that concept sounded really fun, but I haven't found a miniatures set of Khorne guys that I'm really like excited to have because
Okay,
I
Parker.
did not like the GW ones.
I have 2 things for you.
Mhm.
More like 3, 4, or 5. You can't start down this road and not expect me to get halfway excited.
No, I that's why I brought it up.
So, first of all, you would have a fucking blast dojoing every tournament you go to.
Okay, point of order.
Yes.
He would not go to many tournaments because that would require him to travel.
Well, I'm hosting 6 in Kansas City this year alone.
Ooh.
So you can't
That
tell me
number
you
is way
can't go
up.
to any. Yeah, I'm hosting 6 and Richard's 1. So there are at least 7 just in Kansas City. So just knowing you would have an absolute great time. My second quasi recommendation is not to get locked onto a team. And the reason I
okay.
say that is because tournaments vary significantly in how they're run, what the rule set is. You talked about Khorne. Khorne can be great in the right rule set. I'm going to a tournament this weekend where you can only take 3 of each skill. Frenzy is great, but it's actually only good when you pair it with block. Because throwing a shit ton of blocks only works if you have the block skill.
That's what the cowards say.
You're not wrong. He said he wants to have a fun time playing. Not
My
just
Black
fucking
Orcs
Leroy
have
Jenkins
grab,
the entire
or
game.
whatever it's called, Brawler. Like, you don't need block if you have Brawler. That's how that works.
Anyway, Khorne is not a very good take for this particular tournament I'm going to. Personally, it's what I feel. Could you do it? Sure. You can make a suboptimal Khorne build in every tournament you go to. But knowing Parker, he would be like, okay, where's the competitive seam I can find in this tournament based off of the rule pack and the tiering format that they have for the various teams? And what I think you could do is probably identify a play style you enjoy and then figure out how to best fit that play style into that rule set and then bring the team that kind of matches. And probably find 6 or 7 teams that you'll like and can kind of rotate through, assuming you didn't want to test them all.
Right.
And you
I
have
see.
someone nearby who owns 30 teams and loans them for the low cost of a handshake.
Okay.
Ooh.
Okay, that'd be really cool. I do like that idea, and thank you very much for being willing to borrow. That'd be really cool to try before you buy. That'd be awesome.
Yeah, that's why I need 2 Blood Bowl organizers from Brandon, so I can pack 4 teams for everyone I'm loaning teams to every tournament.
I need the Brute Fun Miniatures guy to hurry up and make his Norse team.
The last point of order is you should 1000% look at Grebo Games if you're looking at miniatures. They make what I consider to be the best Blood Bowl miniatures, hands down. And I have a couple of, maybe just one.
This is where me and Aaron differ
Team
extremely.
I'll give you, or sell you for very cheap. Oh my god. Okay.
Aaron and you differ from what?
Oh, on our opinion of Blood Bowl miniatures.
Interesting. So it looks like he really changes the names of them, like they're
He does, because they're copyrighted.
Right.
Mm.
Interesting. This is a totally different aesthetic than Brute Fun.
Yeah, it's a very different style.
Yeah.
I really, really, really like their Amazon team, their Lizardmen team. I think those are the two standouts from them. But like their Amazonians, the women are not just like pinup. That you've got some that are skinny, you've got some that are a little chunkier. They're all in great poses.
These vampires are fucking bizarre. Like not bad bizarre. Just they are.
I haven't seen his Chaos Tours before. I think they're new. I do like
within
his
the last
Chaos
year,
Tour team.
And I don't even know what their vampires look like.
They're non-traditional vampires, I think would be.
They look more like their elves. I think their elves are pretty good. I have their human team. I have their Chaos team. I have their Nurgle team. Amazons, Norse, and Lizardmen. So I have about 7 or 8 different Grebo teams of the 30. Anyway, not saying you have to love them, but they're definitely someone I would consider if you are dipping your toe and want your own team.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I'm looking. He has one really cool Cornate model, but just the one.
Probably a star player.
Yeah, I was looking to see if there was.
You can use it for whatever you want, but
right. I was telling Brandon, I love that there was a time when before 3D printing and sculpting, CAD sculpting was a thing, that every model looked like just a variety of pewter block. Just like some were tall, some were wide, some had a single tube from one shoulder to the other. And that was like the variety that you saw in these things. It's so cool to see the variety that is coming out of this now. I love it.
Yeah. Games in general, there's a lot of really good amateur artists out there that are transitioning into being private sculptors, and they're doing a very good job.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, Aaron, I finished 1883. They I would say that they kind of laid it on a little thick towards the end.
Yeah.
I was not expecting that. It was still very good.
Again, I'm not sure. Well, I don't think it was bad just to watch a one-off. I was gonna say I wouldn't recommend it unless you really like Yellowstone, but
I think it's a good show.
It's
for
a fine.
To watch.
It's a B+ just to watch by itself.
It is exactly as frustrating as Oregon Trail was.
I'm halfway through The Boys season 4 now.
I think is season 4 old or is it new?
Past couple months, maybe 6 months, 8 months.
Okay, yeah, I should have seen that one. From what I can tell, they're just turning into Supernatural at this point because they've hired on like 6 of the main actors from Supernatural now. I started watching Landman. Did you see that one yet?
I will not.
Will not. Okay.
Unless you're like, oh my god, this is the best thing you should ever watch.
It is very good so far.
Okay.
Why do you dislike Billy Bob? I can't remember. I think we talked about this.
I am not a fan of what I will call male daytime soap shows, which are what Taylor Sheridan, all of his works have become.
It is very much like Yellowstone. So if you didn't like that,
we're not going to embark on a new Yellowstone journey.
Yeah, I do like the characters very much. Specifically the main character. I love his interaction with his family. The rest of the show is entertaining, but I'm not there for that. What about you, Parker? Have you seen anything new good lately?
Trying to think. I caught up on Solo Leveling.
Mm-hmm.
That's the last TV thing.
That's been good.
What?
It's like an internet phenomenon at this point.
Yeah, it's strong. Strong to very strong.
JJK.
What's that?
It's the new JJK.
Oh, in terms of popularity, probably.
Yeah, it's like the thing that's getting clipped and memed the most.
Yeah.
It's like the most popular new anime right now.
Mm-hmm. One of the things I like about the show is that it doesn't slow down. It's just like, and also one of the things I've noticed is that
It only speeds up.
and
It's like Stairway to Heaven. It only goes faster.
Yeah, one of the things that I have noticed is that there are a couple carrots that dangled out there, and usually in most like anime, you don't get the carrot till the end of the season, right? You don't get that.
Yeah.
But they're just like pulling the trigger, just like you're trying.
So I don't know if I'm caught up. I think I'm an episode or two behind.
Yeah.
But I will say that there's like the consensus of the anime culture who I almost always disagree with their opinion. But I do disagree with your opinion because everyone I talk to says Solo Level. It's like Chainsaw Man. It's the next biggest thing ever, and it's like, yeah, it's fine. The thing about Solo Leveling is it has no right to be as good as it is because even though it has effectively to this point no major plot, no character development really, it's just like everything else is done so amazingly well that it doesn't matter, right? It lives on the back of its amazing animation and fun fights.
And they don't stop. Like they just keep.
Yeah, no.
There's no filler. It's just
totally
like, and here's another fight, and here's another fight.
And again, I think the pacing is too fast. It feels like it's unearned at this point. Like he's getting so strong so fast that it's like the people that used to be antagonists 2 episodes prior are now like way gone. Like there's no challenge. And so other shows that have those incredibly strong main characters, they either earn that strength over a great amount of time or have always been insurmountably strong, and that's the point of the show. It's like Overlord or JJK with Gojo. It's like nothing really challenges them the whole time, and so it's like they're almost like a force of nature as opposed to a character. And same thing with Eminence and Shadow. But so it's just interesting that they're accelerating him to such a crazy pace that it feels like I just don't want the show to become new villain every week that he hurdles past, and then the next week they have to introduce someone even stronger. For else, there's no point. And so I just don't want to see that. It just becomes a revolving door of Monster of the Week. But again, I haven't read the manga or anything, so I don't know.
Yeah, I know because the internet is the internet. They have definitely spoiled some things for me. I know that a lot of the characters.
Don't tell me.
No. I just know that there's so much going on actually in the show. There's so much going on. Because
and that's what Connor keeps telling me is like his favorite character is getting introduced like this week. So there's clearly a lot going on, and they're building the world really well of introducing a lot of interesting characters to you. But so far, for what I've seen, they haven't really done anything yet.
Yeah, a lot. I'm not going to spoil anything. Yeah, I'm going to stop.
Yeah,
because I don't want to spoil anything. I'm liking it. It is not, I think, like a television achievement kind of thing. It's just really fun to watch.
It is just really fun. Yeah,
I'm not.
The entertainment value is very high, even if the
right.
The storytelling isn't there yet.
I love, and you know that I really like things that push the limits a little bit, things that try new things. And I like when art tries to be do something difficult well. So I don't feel like this is doing that. It's just really fun to watch.
You know what show it reminds me of a lot?
What's that?
One Punch Man.
Oh.
The interesting world with a lot of cool characters, and it kind of moves at a weird pace because the fights are so powerful throughout the show, but also like nothing really happens until like the second half of season 2, and that's when stuff like actually starts moving in the background.
Interesting. There are some similarities. I just love. I think it lacks a lot of the character of One Punch Man, because that's the point of One Punch Man is everything is dripping with character.
Yeah, and just like before,
it's much
he
more.
was
Go ahead.
Like unstoppably powerful from the beginning of the show, right? Like he is the rule of the universe is you can only be this strong. And so like nothing he ever faces is a challenge, and where Solo Leveling is the opposite. He faces challenges left and right. But that's mostly season 1. As far as like season 2, I think there's only one fight I've seen where he even is challenged at any point.
I'm not going to spoil anything for you.
Yeah. I'm sure that can't keep going or else the show will get boring. But
See, I'm with you. This is one of the reasons why the show there is a methodology, and I researched it once a long time ago, but there's a methodology to I'm butchering this. This is a really good story theorist who wrote this cool video op-ed about it, but this idea about if your protagonist is impossibly strong, like how do you make the protagonist still have conflict, right? How is there any conflict? And one of the things that I think solo leveling does not do a very good job of is give the main character a lot of conflict. Like there doesn't seem to be a lot of conflict. Not only is he not challenged very much physically, right? But he also doesn't seem very challenged by any of the situations around him. Like everything just kind of works out for him without him having to work really hard. He seems incredibly aloof. Like his main character trait is he's incredibly aloof, and he doesn't notice when other people around him give him attention or care. He does. Every once in a while you hear his inner narration, his monologue tells you that he's aware that he can't just do whatever the hell he wants because he lives in a society. So he's not like he's not a sociopath, but it's unlike One Punch Man, his trouble is not beating bad guys. His trouble is can he be entertained, right? Can he be engaged? He feels like he's completely disengaged from the world because he's achieved a level of power that you're not supposed to.
Hitherto undreamt of.
Yeah. Frieren is another engagement problem. She's engaged because she's nearly immortal, and she's reached this like level of power.
Yeah, it's like an apathy challenge.
Yeah, it's an apathy challenge.
It's like Dr. Manhattan. It's like, how do I care anymore?
Right. Those characters are really fascinating because
and they're very different, right? Like it's hard to even get in their mindset, and it's really interesting to view a world through someone's eyes like that.
But that's not what's happening in solo leveling. And so I'm with you.
So the issue I kind of have with the show, and I'm not knocking it, I very much like the show.
It's really fun to watch.
The favorite show I have that has weekly episodes right now.
We're being critical.
And so I'm not trashing it. It's just an observation. Like this is where I feel it could maybe get better. Is in the first season, my favorite part of the entire show is when they're in the double dungeon in the first one, where it's so like emotionally impactful of like how it goes. But also, he as a character is a completely different person than who he is now. And I know that they're trying to show change and growth, but like he used to be the really smart, calculating, cautious guy, and now he's like aloof, apathetic, uncaring, and like it's just the opposite of who he used to be. And it's not even that he's changed; he's a completely different person now. And again, we're in a snapshot of season 2. It's not over yet, but it's just interesting if they're going somewhere with that, or if it's just like the new tone of the show.
Yeah.
Connor, if you're watching this, I hate you.
I'll do a little bit of theorizing real fast with you, and this is not based upon anything that you haven't seen. I think this is my prediction for the show is that the Sung, what's his for? Well, I can't remember his name.
Jin-Woo Sung?
The Jin-Woo we see in the show, or rather the post, the Arisen, right? The Second Awakening Jin-Woo. I wonder if that's actually Jin-Woo, or this is just like an impression of Jin-Woo. That's what
What do you mean?
This is just theory. I have no evidence nor
I'm just not understanding what you're saying.
No spoilers. I think that the system, whatever the system is manipulating everybody. It's manipulating humans, it's manipulating monsters, and Jin-Woo is kind of an agent that walks in between both. And whatever happened in that double dungeon, that was the system, whatever the system is, the one that like gives him shit to do. The system is manipulating him, and I think, I don't know how, because it is an isekai, I don't know if his consciousness got transferred into what he calls himself, or this is like an impression or a copy of the original Jin-Woo. But I think the original is actually dead. I think he's either gone.
Okay.
I think he did die.
Do you think he's basically reincarnated as this new person?
Some functionally, yeah. Or
because when he's in the hospital, though, he's still visually and emotionally the same person.
Right. There are reasons there's evidence for both.
Yeah.
One of the main evidences that I'm pointing to is, like you said, the characters seem to be like really changed after that moment. Physically, he was the same, but very quickly he changed to a totally different person, like a new persona, like overrid the old one. And
I think the time like obviously there's going to be a lot of personality shift. Well, not only is he going through basically puberty, but he's going through like a metaphysical change where he's gaining magical powers and shit.
Right.
Like, that's obviously a big part of it.
This could be totally wrong. They could never validate this.
Well, he was also, wasn't he in the hospital for like a month or two? Like, yeah.
There's another bit. However, one of the things that I keep going back to is the opening and closing credits have this really consistent visual theme of two Jinwoos, right?
I haven't noticed that.
Yeah, if you,
I don't watch them though. So
I because I'm usually doing dishes, I just don't skip them. They're usually playing. So I watch them a lot. There is a really consistent theme in all of the opening and closing credit sequences of season 1 and season 2, where there's two Jinwoos. Like there's absolutely pre Double Dungeon and post Double Dungeon Jinwoo, and pre Double Dungeon is always shown in these very tragic poses and tortured, like stuck, captured in prison, dying on a table with like blood leaking out from behind him, like we saw him die in season 1. And then the other Jinwoo is always calm, collected, in charge, sitting on a throne. And I don't know if that's just visual, like it 100% could just be a visual interpretation of isekai, right? Which is a very pathetic person dies and is then reincarnated as a very successful person, and that's just kind of the theme. Or I don't know if there's a more literal translation, like the reason why he feels so different and people barely recognize him as his old self is because he is not his old self. It's a physical or metaphysical transition. I don't know. That's my theory.
Well, I think there's a lot of evidence to infer that he's in some way not the same person as he was, not just as a power scale issue, but like as a completely physical change issue. Because there's the one, I mean, not to give away spoilers, but somebody identifies him as being different than everybody else. And I think that's a pretty big sign that there's something else going on. So yeah.
And I think that's one of the intriguing parts of the show. It's one of the things that, so rather than like One Punch, where I am quite confident they are never going to explain why he's so strong, right?
What are you talking about? He has a very, very difficult training regimen that he does.
Just general calisthenics.
That's not even that rigorous.
That episode is wonderful. They're all so mad at him for.
That's also like episode 3. Like it's so early on.
Yeah. And so I'm convinced that there is no midichlorian count, right? There's never going to be an attempt to like explain it because that's not his conflict. I think the conflict in solo leveling is why does he have these abilities? Because he just kind of uses them, but he doesn't understand them. He just uses them, and he doesn't seem to be asking any questions. Kind of reminds me of, spoiler alert for anybody with Dresden. Where's your rod, Dresden? Like, where's your rod? Like, it's kind of like that. Like, I have this feeling.
Wow, you picked such a. You're so lucky that you can't really spoil that moment.
No.
Because that is such a great moment in the fucking book.
You can't really spoil that moment. That's why
you can't really spoil it. Yeah.
But there's you know what I mean? I feel like Jinwoo is going to have that moment. I hope he has that moment.
Yeah.
Right?
No, I mean, because One Punch Man is a commentary on how like silly the main characters in animes are. Like that's the whole point of the show.
Yeah.
And so like to explain it would be the jumping of the shark, literally.
Yeah.
Like that's the whole point of the show is that they don't explain it. But on Dresden Files, segue, I just started book 6 in my reread. I'm already excited.
Nice.
Book 5 was just as good as I remembered it, obviously. Friend of the show, Chris from Kansas City, or I guess Ottawa technically, just finished book 15, like yesterday.
Wow.
So congrats. He very much enjoyed it. As you would.
I was going to say you have to. I disagree with anybody who could say that you can't enjoy those books. They're just so strong.
Nigel hates them.
What?
Nigel got to like book 4 and hates them.
Okay.
But also Nigel's a terrible person with terrible opinions.
I could say this. You could not like how it starts. You could not like how it starts. I could see
It's funny
somebody
because
not liking it.
book 1 and even a little bit of book 2 is so different than the rest of the series, specifically book 1, that I think there are people that like book 1 that don't like the rest of the series, and vice versa, right? Like, most people don't like the first book, and you have to understand, like, the first novel by an author is always going to be a little rough, but it's mostly just different than the rest of the series.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hero's journey doesn't feel like it starts until later for him, really.
And in the audiobook, there's even the author puts in a little like blurb beforehand. He's like, a lot of people believe this is really where the story starts in book 3, and I think for somewhat in the storyline that's actually true, because everything that happened before book 3 is kind of separate and different, even though it's still all tied together. And that's the part I really enjoy, is that when on the rereads, is noticing how far back things were linked. Like, even in the first book, there's things linked to book 17, like all the way back. And so it's I think really nice to go through and reread them on occasion.
I'm introducing my daughters to that kind of storytelling right now for the very first time. The idea that a writer very carefully crafted a universe and it's very consistent, right? We're watching a show. I wasn't trying to make a pun, called Steven Universe, and it's for kids for sure. But one of the things that I love about it, it's a very, very well done show. Anybody could appreciate the fact that it pays really, really close attention to its world and world building, and what all the characters know is different from what all the characters know. Like, all of them have really consistent backstories that are always true. And I think that kind of dedication, I'm really I told him, I said, pay attention to this show. If you pay attention, you'll see how the writers and the animators were very careful to make sure that everything is true. Nothing is just kind of thrown away. I'm really excited to go once they actually get to see the full series. I'm excited to go back and show them some of these moments where the writers and the storyboardists and the artists spent time making sure that characters behaved in that moment, even in the background sometimes, appropriately for what they knew compared to what everybody else knew in the scene. Really excited. But that's the kind of thing you're talking about in Dresden, right? Like, characters know things and you didn't know that they knew things when they were interacting the way that they did, but then, 14 books later, you go, oh shit.
Yeah, it's like the twist novel, the murder mystery, when you go back and watch it knowing who the killer is, right? And you're like, oh, okay, that's why this was foreshadowed in this way, even though it was subtle. Like, I could have noticed this. I can't remember what movie it was I was watching a breakdown on, and they're like, you can actually tell, oh yeah, it's Fight Club. I was watching a breakdown on Fight Club. There's so many subtle clues throughout the movie that you would never think about. And there's like the one where they're both tied up in the basement and one of them gets punched. And Edward Norton's character, who I believe is nameless in the movie, like reacts to the punch when the other guy gets hit across the room from him. And so it's just like a lot of little stuff like that.
I love it when, and I know consistency is something that's important to storytellers, but I love it when somebody spends so much time on a story that takes years to craft. And for a movie, consistency makes sense because the person's going to be able to remember what happened in the first scene, 45 minutes later, right? Like, and the rewatch, to be able to canvas is so easy. But when I see somebody do it over like a 5-season television show or 17 fucking books, I'm just like, I start clapping. Right? It's just so impressive to me, the craft it takes to care so much about your world to make sure it's consistent over that much time.
Yeah, I think it's a really important statement about how much do people care about their own media as well. Like, it'd be so easy to just put acceptable content on TV and like to see somebody like, producers and directors and the writers and everybody working together to make sure that stuff comes through over, sometimes decades of work. Making sure that stuff happens is really nice. And so it makes you appreciate the actual well-done stuff. Aaron, I feel like we're talking over you this whole time. Is there anything you want to talk about media-wise? Any good books or anything you like that you want to recommend?
Nope.
Nope, he doesn't like media. Did you ever finish your Salvatore books?
I got 6 to go.
6 to go.
I'm on some I haven't read yet though, so that's pretty good.
There you go.
I'm actually excited to read these as opposed to just chug through the ones I have been chugging through.
Cool.
Salvatore's famous for Dungeons & Dragons stuff, right?
Mm-hmm.
Dritz specifically, yeah.
It's nothing that I would recommend anyone pick up and read. It was nostalgia from back when I was 13, and they're great young adult fantasy books, if you will. Not so much where I'm at now. David Gemmell is by far my best favorite author. Once I finish the Salvatore series, I'm going to switch to Orson Scott Card, who wrote the Ender series.
Okay. Yeah, I read the first one of that.
I really think what he did was pretty ingenious in how he wrote a book, and then he wrote a second book that paralleled the first in its timeline, but took the viewpoint from a different character.
Yeah.
And then he has 2 divergent, not timelines, but points of view. He follows 2 different characters in different series after that. So one of them is super like highbrow, and one of them's not. So you kind of decide which one interests you more, and follow it.
I started reading one of the sequel books, and I can't remember which one it was, but I want to say it followed Bean mostly.
Yep, Ender Shadow follows Bean.
Yeah, that one. Yeah, yep. I read like half of that, and I think I just got lost.
That was an amazing
not lost
book.
like complex, but like lost that I was busy at the time, and something came up, and I started listening to that, and I just forgot to go back to it.
No, I loved Ender Shadow.
Okay, it was pretty cool.
I'm really happy to go back and reread that one.
It definitely feels more not like hard crunchy sci-fi, but like more true sci-fi that's not as fantasy based like Star Wars and stuff like that, where you can really feel like they really put the time into thinking about the infrastructure and stuff, and like how cool stuff would work. I've been tempted to read the oh god, what are they called? Oh, I know this. The Expanse novels, which is what the Amazon show is based on. They have some of the, again, more interesting technology aspects. It seems like it's grounded in more near future as opposed to far future, kind of like Ender's is. A lot of sci-fi books is like super advanced, and so it's like it has no, similarities to our way of life.
Mm-hmm.
But I could very much see the Expanse kind of culture existing very easily because it feels very realistic. Mostly that it's not perfect and it's kind of shitty. All right, though. Let's go ahead and jump into Mojo before we run out of time.
This is my most excited Mojo maybe ever.
What? Really?
I'll give you credit for coming up with this topic.
Yes, Parker. Really.
Oh wow. I'm happy for you. I didn't.
So I'm gonna send you right now in podcast my picks. They're all on spoilers, so. You can
I'm going to click them now and pick them.
Yeah, I guarantee none of you are picking any of these.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're saying you just want us to be able to know that you're sure you never changed your mind? Like this is verification?
No, I want Brandon to be able to fucking spell these.
Yeah, that's probably smart. All right. So I will be going first this week. Our topic is going to be sandwiches, and so this is what your favorite sandwiches are.
Oh, please tell me that he picked tacos and hot dogs. Tell me that's what
I will. Oh my god, I will single vote veto you so hard. You're like, hot dogs just an open face sandwich. Shut the fuck up.
I'm really hoping that it's all tacos and hot dogs.
Kinda is.
I'm not saying that it's not. I'm saying I'm not allowing it as a pick. I'm not going to have the argument. I'll cut it off and we'll burn it.
Okay.
All right. We're not going to get hate mail over if pizza is a sandwich. Okay. All right. So first pick for me, it's going to be meatball sub. I'm going with meatball sub.
That used to be the only thing I would eat at like your traditional sandwich place, like your Subway.
Yeah.
Or Good Sense.
I've definitely expanded my horizons to other things. I don't like cold sandwiches that much, and mainly because the way I would like a cold sandwich that most places either massively overcharge for or don't make. Because I'm not a fan of mustard or mayonnaise, and I don't like pickle juice. So like, there's a limited number of condiments that I can put on it, and so outside of like lettuce and onions, it's like, okay, well this is like $2 in like food supplies, so I'm not going to spend $12 on it. So yeah, very much like hot sandwiches.
Nice.
Parker, you're up next.
All right, I'm gonna go with my favorite sandwich in the whole world, a Crawfish Po Boy. That's a treat
Is
from
that
Louisiana.
DOI?
What's that?
I'm just kidding. All right, Aaron. Wow us with your sandwich picks.
Okay, pick number 1. There is only one correct answer to this question, and I've nailed it. And if I don't win based off of this one, our entire listenership are fucking morons.
Ooh, okay.
Wow.
Hold on. Give me a second. I want to come up with a prediction
Okay,
in my head. All right.
this isn't even that far out there.
I just saw that baby fly out with that bathwater, just whew, right out the window.
I think there's only 2 choices that I would guess based off that statement. Go ahead.
Okay, no, you got to guess now.
You want me to say it out loud? Well, I'm going to give away my okay, I would say based on your setup.
I mean,
I'm
my
gonna
2 are
go
locked
with-
in. They're already in there, but go ahead. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm going to go with either.
I think Brandon's going to be incredibly wrong. Go.
I know, right? I know it's not even going to be close. I'm going to go either Italian sub, which is just a red herring, or grilled cheese. That's the only 2 I can imagine you saying after such a strong foundational stance. Go ahead. Wow.
Correct answer to this question is a doner kebab.
A doner kebab. What is that?
So it's like what we would call them gyros in the States.
Oh,
It's
yeah,
the
yeah.
shaved
It's the,
lamb or pork or chicken
Yeah.
that is put in sort of a pita-esque bread and then stuffed with some sort of lettuce and sauce.
Gotcha. Okay.
It's
But
Turkish.
It's Turkish, yes. If you go have an actual doner kebab, you will never want another sandwich in your life.
Okay.
How's
The
I-
gyros
I-
in the States are acceptable, but overseas actual doners are fucking amazing. Go ahead.
I only know what a kebab is because of the show Ted Lasso.
Okay. And we're not talking like meat on a stick kebab. That's not a kebab.
Yeah, I know what you mean. That's why I was confused at first.
Sure,
I've never heard the doner kebab part.
Yep.
So what about it makes it better than your standard hero? I'm just curious. Is it the seasoning?
So yeah, it's the seasoning. So the difference between a
Okay.
gyro and a kebab is the seasoning,
Okay.
as well as I guess you can get other like shawarma is typical Middle Eastern kebab fare, but it is also seasoned differently than the traditional Turkish doner.
I would love to try this thing. I'm sure
Oh.
I've never had one like it. I wonder if can you get one in Kansas City? Is it technically possible? Probably somewhere.
I mean,
You're gonna
I
make
doubt
me
it'll be
look
the
it up
same.
now. Okay,
Yeah.
okay, that's my 2 dudes. See if you can get an actual Turkish doner in Kansas City.
there we go.
I doubt it, but
Alright.
we'll see.
what is
Okay.
your next pick?
Okay, my next pick is the infamous croque madame. What? Why are you laughing?
Because
Piece of shit mocking my sandwich
No!
pick.
no,
Yes,
it's just
I
that
am mocking your
other
sandwich pick.
humans are going to read this and go, "What is this gobbledygook?"
Yeah, I know, right?
Okay, so
I actually don't want. Hold on, I actually don't want you to explain it because no one will vote for you because nobody knows what it is.
okay, I sent pictures on the podcast. It's the first
gotcha.
spoiler picture. Is a croque
This is
madame.
the first spoiler picture.
So
I'm
croque
looking-
is French
I look
for
for-
egg sandwich.
croque is French
It's an
for
egg
crunchy.
sandwich.
And so
okay.
a croque madame is your traditional grilled cheese, except it's got Gruyere cheese in the middle. They put
I was right.
they put Gruyere and bechamel sauce on top. They make sure to either bake or fry it so the cheese on top is crunchy, which gives it its name. And then a croque monsieur is just that. A croque madame has the either poached or fried egg on top of it that you then pierce and let the egg flow through the sandwich as you eat it.
I was right. Grilled cheese.
That is not
that
fucking
ham?
grilled cheese.
It's
It's
ham,
grilled cheese.
isn't it?
It is. It's ham and
It's
cheese, yes.
Grilled cheese.
It's ham and cheese
Grilled
with an egg on top that's toasted with cheese on top. That's interesting.
But it's Gruyere and bechamel. It's not fucking like unwrap an American cheese plastic piece
Sure.
of shit and throw it on there.
Sure. No, I'm not gonna lie. I'm looking at pictures. It kind of looks like the KC Double Down, where like how do you hold this thing
KFC Double
without
Down?
burning your How do you hold this thing
Well,
without
there's a
burning
picture
your
of a knife
hands?
and fork in the picture.
I know,
Yeah,
but
you usually cut it.
I get it. But it's a sandwich.
yeah, because the croque monsieur is just a ham and cheese toasted sandwich, basically. It's obviously very fancy,
Yes, it's
and then
Different
this one
cheeses,
just
yeah.
has the egg on
Adds the
top.
egg, yep.
Yeah.
I'm not saying you shouldn't do
No,
this.
it's not-
This
it
is
looks like-
clearly a sandwich. But when I think sandwich, I think of something I'm going to be able to pick up and eat. So
Parker, I don't know if you can see in the document. I wrote it on there.
what, Doc? What?
The podcast document. If you can see the list, I put his entry there. You're up next.
I refuse to look.
Oh no! Don't
I
do
don't
that
know
to
why.
him. He's going to
What are you talking
leave
about?
this podcast forever if you take
Oh
away
wait,
his.
all right, I'll
croque
fix it.
madame.
I'll fix it. All right, fixed.
Oh my god.
Uh-huh.
He's making it worse.
I'm sure
I don't
he
know
is.
what you're talking about. I can't wait till he sees the poll this week.
Oh Jesus.
You're ruining
I'll
my favorite Mojo world that we've ever done. You're just gonna
I'm writing
gonna
down exactly what you're telling me. I
put
don't understand
my head
the
in the
problem.
shitter and swirl it around a little bit. Okay.
All right, Parker, you're up.
My second favorite, and I feel really lame going after those two really cool sandwiches, but I'm going to go with Lobster Roll. I'm a huge fan of Lobster Roll. You may notice that all my favorite sandwiches so far have crustaceans in them. That's kind of a theme.
So a lobster roll is like a hoagie.
It's a cold sandwich. Think of it kind of like almost like egg salad, but it's lobster instead.
Okay, it's like the shredded,
Yep,
and then it's with
right.
Okay,
And you usually open up a roll, just like a big Kaiser roll.
gotcha.
You open it up.
It's a
and put
lobster sub, is what it is. Okay,
it kind of, yeah.
I got you. I hear lobster roll, and I had always assumed, because I don't eat seafood very often, I specifically don't eat lobster.
Uh-huh.
I always assumed it was like the tail was called a lobster roll.
Oh no!
I had no idea because I don't eat seafood.
No, it's literally like a hoagie.
Yeah.
Thing.
Okay.
A lot of lobster meat in it, though. It tastes really good.
Yeah. So my final two picks, I'm gonna go with a Philly cheesesteak. It's not like absolutely amazing. It's just really good.
Mm-hmm.
It's hard to do a Philly badly, but it is easy to do a Philly really good. And then finally, probably honestly, if I could have any one sandwich in the entire world every day for the rest of my life, I know which one it would be, and it'd be neither of my previous picks. It'd be this one, the chicken carbonara from Quiznos.
I do know that's your sandwich.
I can
It's
respect that.
so I worked at Quiznos once upon a time. I worked at Quiznos for almost 4 years which is funny because there was 3 of them in our local area that used to be owned by the same person. I worked for that person, and I would occasionally work at all 3 stores. And then as basically right after I quit, they all closed. So I'm gonna take claim that I was the only reason they were still open. But I ate the same sandwich for lunch every day for 3.5 years, and it was the chicken carbonara, extra sauce, and it's just so good. The sauce is it's a creamy bacon Alfredo, so it's basically a thick Alfredo sauce that has bacon bits in it, and then it's sliced mushrooms, provolone cheese, chicken, and bacon, and that's pretty much the whole sandwich.
I had one of those once.
Toasted.
I had one of those once, and I was deeply dehydrated for 24 hours because
you're supposed to drink water directly through me. That's you. That's your fault. But it's funny because every time I find somebody else who really, really likes Quiznos, it's always the chicken carbonara. Mm-hmm. I was talking to Connor, and Connor was like, I didn't know that Quiznos delivered to my house. I just sent it back, fuck you. Because there's only one left in Kansas City. It's like an hour from my house. And so I was like, chicken carbonara? He's like, yep. And then I was watching a streamer one day. He's like, it's my birthday. I'm going to Quiznos. And so everyone's like, what are you getting? He's like, the chicken carbonara. It's like, God damn it.
It's good.
Everyone knows. It's the best sandwich. All right. Let me guess. The next is shrimp sandwich.
Oh, is it my turn again?
It is your turn.
Okay. I'm actually going to go with... I think you guys are going to let me have this one. I don't know why you wouldn't. I'm actually going to go with...
Cheeseburger will slap the fuck out of you.
No, I was going to go with kolache. I actually like
That's
kolaches.
not a sandwich.
You're not okay. Not a sandwich. Okay,
not a sandwich.
Then it's still going to be a breakfast sandwich.
There's so many good ones.
I want like just an egg and sausage breakfast sandwich. Like I don't like just biscuit, egg sausage biscuit.
Let's do egg sandwich.
Yeah.
Because I don't know if you've ever had like homemade egg sandwiches, but that was close to the top of my list. It's just a grilled cheese with egg on it is really all it is, and it's basically what Aaron picked as his first pick.
No, but the thing is, I'm talking about the breakfast. I'm talking about like the breakfast ones. Those are the ones.
Oh, it's a breakfast sandwich.
Okay.
Yeah. Okay. It's just usually the breakfast version is made with like a biscuit or an egg, or English muffin, something like that, a croissant.
Precisely.
But it's the same. It's the same ingredients. It's just which bread you want.
Yeah, that's what I like. The biscuit version. That's my favorite. Is put it on a biscuit.
I'll just do egg. I don't like biscuits.
I love them.
Found out.
I
don't know what it is about them. I thought because I love biscuits and gravy. I can eat biscuits and gravy every day. But I don't. Every time I get a biscuit outside of biscuits gravy, I don't like it. I don't know why.
And here's something strange about me. I love biscuits. I eat biscuits like donuts. I will just wolf them down. But biscuits and gravy, I really don't like them. And it's the gravy part, clearly. I just don't like breakfast gravy.
Well, that's because it would kill you.
it also would hurt. But
you would be. What is the show that it was like? Oh, I'd like something this bad for me, and he takes one bite of it and just dies instantly.
I was gonna say
you would take one bite of biscuits gravy and your body would rip in half.
It's the D&D equivalent of taking con damage whenever
I'm dead.
Gravy. So yeah, if you could just give me an egg biscuit or egg and sausage biscuit, I would take that.
Okay. All right, Aaron. I'm very anticipatory towards your final selection.
Okay. My final selection is a smørbrød.
I'm going to take the picture now. That's avocado and toast.
No. Go ahead and try to tell me what a smørbrød is.
It's SMO with a line through it R, BRO with a line through it D, but the D is silent.
Of course it is. It's SM null R BR null D, but it doesn't really exist.
I'm looking at the picture. I still can't tell what it is. It looks like shrimp and egg on ziti sauce with toast.
Oh my gosh!
It's butter. So it is a Danish and or Norwegian delicacy. It's rye bread with a healthy amount of butter, and then they're open face sandwiches, and you'll typically have several different types if you sit down to have one as a meal. So you'll start off with raw salmon, and then you'll have some of your meats like the shrimp and sliced hard-boiled eggs, and then you can go on to some cheese and jam afterwards. So it's a variety type of sandwich that can be an entire meal, and it's amazing.
Holy shit! So the way you spelled it is the Norwegian version.
That is
correct,
yes.
The Danish version has another spelling.
They do.
And
Silly
Swedish is yet another. Swedish is smorgas, but it means butter goose. Oh shit!
So if you're ever traveling around Scandinavia and you see smørbrød, you should get some.
Smørbrød.
I'm sure I won't in any way mistake that for any of their other fake words.
Smørbrød.
So smør is the Norwegian / Danish word for butter, and brød is bread. So it's really buttered bread with whatever toppings you want to put on top of it.
Yep.
So yes, it's toast.
Yeah. Smørbrød.
I think this is
the best answer we've ever heard on a Mojoverse. Clearly.
I just want to point out that the first time we sat down to do a podcast and you were eating, you're like, I'm just going to finish up what I'm eating. I'm like, oh, what are you eating? He's like, macaroni noodles. And I'm like, what? And he's like, I'm just eating macaroni noodles with nothing on them. I'm like, what? And you're like, yeah, that's all I had. I'm like, Aaron, why are you just eating plain noodles?
Because he wasn't anywhere near.
He's in there.
He wasn't anywhere near a Norwegian restaurant, so he could have smørbrød. I'm not laughing at the culture or the place. I'm laughing at somebody asks you, "What's your favorite sandwich?" and you respond with a sneeze.
Jeg vil hjertelig ha en smørbrød. Takk for det. It's not my fucking fault you can't speak Norwegian, dumbass.
I mean, it's kind of your fault. You could have taught him.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh, I love everything about this so much. This is the perfect end to this day.
I cannot wait till he sees the poll.
I'm not gonna lie. Your how do you pronounce it? How do you pronounce the kebab? Is it doner or
Doner?
Doner. The doner kebab. I bet I would love it. It'd probably be terrible for me, but I bet I would love it. The croque madame sounds amazing, like really amazing. I don't think I would like smørbrød, but I think
depends on your taste for rye bread.
Yeah, I guess I've never had rye bread, so
Very
I have had.
thick. Well, not that the slice is thick, but it's dense. It's not
Yeah.
fluffy like your,
Yeah.
kill you white bread we eat all the time.
Yeah, I've seen it a lot. I just never had it.
A Reuben was on my list actually, so I do like rye. But I like Reubens because of sauerkraut. I know I do. That's the reason
Yeah,
why
I don't
them.
like sauerkraut. So.
And you know what was on my list actually, Aaron, which is I did not know this, but I just looked it up. It is a croque monsieur. It's just like an Americanized version of it. Is the Monte Cristo.
It is, yes. Monte Cristos usually have ham and jam sometimes.
Yeah.
But yes.
I love a Monte Cristo, and I don't get to have them very much in my life. I think I've only had maybe 5 or 6 my whole life, but I really like them. So I bet I would really like the croque madame. That sounds good.
My honorable mention is a currywurst, which are German sausages with generally spicy, but really spicy curry sauce on them.
Do they put them in bread or something? Or
yeah. It's 2 slices of bread, or not bread. It's usually it's a long roll that they cut open. Not quite a sub, but picture a sub with curry or sliced sausages in the middle. Sometimes it'll just be on a roll that they like cut in half, and like a hamburger roll. That I don't think the bread's particularly standardized amongst Germany. I could be wrong.
Honorable mention for me is basically any barbecue sandwich. Specifically, pulled pork is my favorite, I think. But honestly, just take well cooked meat, put it on a sandwich. Like, we're good. And obviously, technically, cheeseburger is a sandwich, but it's just so simple. Like, it's what you eat when you don't want to bother making anything complex.
And you see, I love specifically certain toppings on cheeseburgers to make them, but man, I really struggle to enjoy your standard cheeseburger. But I don't know what it is. I just really struggle to appreciate them. I'd rather have any sandwich than like your standard cheeseburger. Not that I've ever had good ones, but
I mean, obviously you can have a good cheeseburger, but like it's got a low ceiling, and it's also got a low floor, right? And you'd have to really mess up a cheeseburger for it to be really bad, but there's only so much you can do with like 3 ingredients.
You know what might be my favorite cheeseburger actually? I just realized this is on the grill, just a standard patty, just like Casey Masterpiece on it.
Oh yeah, I put barbecue sauce on burgers. Yeah.
That's it. But nothing else.
Casey's Masterpiece is not what I would choose. I would go with Kansas City Joe's barbecue, but yeah, Casey Masterpiece is just sugar liquid. With
that's 100% why it's basically
it's just sugar. Yeah,
it's basically like a pancake sandwich with sausage in the middle, like a syrup. And that's another one of my favorite kind of sandwich. I'm a breakfast person. I love breakfast. I love.
Now, when we used to make sloppy joes, we would make sloppy joes by just cooking hamburger meat in the pan and then just pouring Casey Masterpiece on top of it and just mixing it up. And you're like, that's sloppy joe. Like it's like not really,
not
but
really.
Sure. Okay.
Oh, I should have thought of sloppy joes.
Sloppy joes is good.
A good sloppy joe, like somebody actually trying to make one from scratch, is really great. I haven't had one of those in a long time, though.
I will be buying a Casey donor on my way into the store tomorrow.
Ooh, you gonna bring me one?
Would you like me to bring you one?
Hell yeah! Wait, what's on it?
Well,
sauce wise.
Stand by. It's at I think it's at a pop-up like food truck that travels.
Okay.
Looks like there's a red sauce and a yogurt-based sauce.
Okay, just no mayonnaise, and that's all that really matters.
It'll be a yogurt or a red sauce.
What's the red sauce? Is it like marinara red sauce?
No, it's like a Mediterranean red sauce.
Yes.
It's the same stuff they put on like what's it made out of? I know
because the yogurt sauce is closer to like the ziti sauce on gyros, right?
This is ziti sauce.
Yes.
Okay, I'll do the white sauce then.
I would love to try that. What time do you think that'll happen?
I'll probably swing by around, I'm guessing 2:30. It's either gonna be 2:30 or like 6, one of the two. Depends on if I want to beat the traffic or go after the traffic.
Okay, I'll have to be out of that then. That's fine. Don't worry about it.
Okay.
It was just very wishful thinking. Maybe you eat it and you tell me how good it is. And
Parker,
I'll go find
I'll
it
let
myself.
you smell my breath at 6:00.
No, I don't want that. I want a man who knows his Turkish sandwiches to tell me how strong they are.
I doubt this will be as good as an authentic Turkish doner. However,
It'll
It
probably
might
be
be
way better.
okay. It might be. I don't know. I thought I told you guys on the cast, but maybe I didn't. So when we were in Turkey, we went to the home or the restaurant of the original doner kebab.
That's right.
It was fucking amazing.
You did. I remember the original something, but I didn't remember it was this.
Yep.
Okay.
All right, Parker.
Mhm.
What sound does James Bond's doorbell make? Dong. Ding dong. You should not have laughed at that. I'm only laughing that you laughed.
That joke reminds me of a clip from one of those like Cats Do Countdown German comedian shows. And the prompt was the whole idea was it was quick on your feet, right? You're trying to think of things as fast as you can, and the prompt was 1.5. And the guy busted immediately. He goes, "How James Bond introduces himself."
How many times James Bond says his name?
Oh, that's right. How many times James Bond says his name?
Yeah, because you're trying to come up with the question.
Yeah.
So, Aaron, I don't know if you noticed last week the show notes for the Judgment podcast.
Probably not.
Probably
I read the title, and that's about it.
Yeah. So Jeremy forgot to put in show notes again. So from now on, I'm just going to insert a dad joke as the show notes, and every time he forgets, which is about 40% of the time.
Okay.
At this point, he's forgetting show notes more, and I'm forgetting Mojo polls. So, all right, let's go ahead and get out of here. Thanks for tuning in, everybody. Hopefully you enjoyed. This has been Brandon
And Parker.
And Smurbrød Lover.
And you just listened to Blah Blah Blah.
So what are we going to call this thing?
I got it. Okay. Incredible, new, fantastic, astonishing, mighty, original, uncanny, sensational podcast.
I'm just going to put down infamous.